Hi everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about women in comedy. Okay, the reason we're going to talk about women in comedy is pretty much because of the thing that I just see over and over again, and I semi-agree with, that women aren't funny. Now, that's a broad statement. That's a pretty broad statement. And yeah, you could go on a feminist rant about that. But we're going to talk about the reasons why people feel that way. First off, whether you find me funny or not, that's not in question here. A couple people do, a lot of people don't. So, anything else, everything, especially humor, is subjective. So, you always have to keep that in mind when we're talking about whether or not people are funny or whether or not something is funny. I could say that I'm not a big fan of comedy, just simply because my idea of comedy and what's funny is very selective. The vast majority of things out there that are considered comedy, like comedy TV shows or movies, I don't find remotely funny. I just think they're stupid. The ability to make me laugh out loud, literally, is very hard. I don't laugh at much. You might get a smile, you might get a tiny little chuckle occasionally, but for me to actually laugh out loud, that's pretty fucking hard. So let's get down to it. Now, do I agree that women aren't funny? No, I don't agree that at all. I don't think humor has any basis on whether or not you're male or female. Genitalia does not come into play on whether a person's funny in my book. But the mass majority of female comedians out there that you see, that actually get attention, I don't find funny at all. Now, the reasoning for this, the reasoning why many female comedians are not really funny, can come down to a few different things. Some of which, you could say, oh, patriarchy, it's all about the patriarchy. I don't agree with that. There could be some patriarchy in there, in the sense that the people in charge of letting people become famous or getting them on TV and having specials are only choosing female comedians that come from a certain type of comedy. And that's the problem. It's that certain kind of comedy. And we'll get into that more. So you could kind of say maybe that's a bit patriarchal, but still, I think it comes down a little bit more to women themselves. What they think they need to be making jokes about. Now, let's take male comedians. Now, there are a few male comedians that specifically, their humor is geared towards men. It is. They're talking mostly sports, which is typically, even though that's not true, still typically considered more of a male thing. Or they're bitching about women, and there's some things to bitch about, but there's still some things to bitch about men as well. So, but whatever. So there are a few male comedians out there that have gotten, traction, that definitely do more of a male humor, but the vast majority of them don't have a gendered comedy set. It's not geared towards male or female. So men and women are going to find it funny if they're funny and that's their type of sense of humor. So the fact that they're not gendering their humor is what helps them be successful, in my book at least. Because they can open up and be, appealing to a mass group of audience. And this is where the problem with women or female comedians comes into play. The mass majority that, get traction and get out there and get their names out there, are doing one of two things. Or a mixture of both, I should say. Quite a lot of them. They're gearing their comedy towards women. That's a huge mistake. Men are going to be, on the outskirts. They're not going to find it funny. They're not going to feel like they can connect to you when you're fucking making jokes about, how long it takes you to get ready. Or, oh my God, this, or oh my God, that, or I had this date then, and then, oh, makeup and make me pretty, just totally geared towards women. It's not appealing. It's not appealing to a lot of women. It's not appealing to men. Maybe a couple men, but, mass majority, no. So that right there is going to hamper your ability to get big, to be seen as, a good force of women in comedy, because you're only, targeting one fucking audience here. One audience. How does that make sense? That doesn't make sense to me at all. And the other grouping, or what these also delve into, is the women who base all their comedy on just being sluts. Now, everybody's got their own opinion on whether you should call people sluts or you shouldn't call people sluts. It's slut shaming. You shouldn't do. I'm sorry. I will call people sluts because it's not just women. Men are fucking sluts too. So if I see a slut, I'm going to call them a slut. Doesn't matter what the fuck is between their legs. So, but they're gearing their whole comedy towards, I'm a slut. I slept with this. I slept with that. Let's do sex jokes, period, end of story. And, maybe sometimes delve it into, the women's view of that. But that's still, you're gearing your comedy towards one sort of audience. Now, you can get some good jokes. I mean, some of them can be funny at times. Like, let's take Lisa Lampanelli, I think is how you say her name. I can't fucking speak. She's funny. She goes mostly towards the, I'm a slut. Let's talk about, sex type of comedy. And yeah, she can get away with it because she goes full force with that shit. She doesn't pull any punches at all. And I can find her funny at times. I certainly can. I think she is a good example of doing it correctly if you're going to go that route. But I don't understand why female comedians go those two routes and those two routes only. Or, like the Amy Schumer thing. She does girl comedy and she does slut comedy. I mean, that's it. I don't find her funny. She's not funny. It's boring in my book. So I think that's the main reason why women are sometimes considered not funny. Because the majority of the comedians out there that are female are just talking about fucking stupid, they put on their pretty skin-tight dresses and they're just like, yeah, alcohol, and yeah, my dating preferences, and yeah, that's just not funny. So, if a woman could actually gear her comedy towards both men and women, making it genderless in general, I think that would be a huge fucking advancement. I think she could really get ahead with that. I think that would be something that would be great to be seen. Because that whole gender thing is just, if I see a comedian who's only making jokes about sports, I'm not going to connect with that. I'm not going to find any of it funny. But at the same time, if I see a female comedian who's only talking about fucking makeup and dating and all that fucking shit, I'm not going to connect to that either. You're not going to get my vote. So when you do these gender things, you're just blocking out a huge percentage of the population that might be able to enjoy your content. If you really want to see some funny women when it comes to comedians, I would suggest checking out, more of the lesbian ones. I can't recall any of them off the top of my head because, like I said, I don't watch a lot of comedy. But the few that I've seen, or a number of them that I have seen, were far funnier than your straight female comedians because they aren't gendering it. It's not a gendered thing. They do, depending on, where they're having their comedy special and just, what their audience is, do slip in some lesbian jokes. And I can find that funny. But at the same time, I think a lot of people could too, just because, it's showing a side of things that, a average person, an average heterosexual person isn't aware of or don't know about. So the oddity of it for them could make it even funnier for them. But yeah, they are less gendering in their comedy. Therefore, a lot of times they can be far more funny than any other female comedian. But once again, when you get into homosexual comedians, you still are going to have an issue with the fact that they're going to kind of get stereotyped as, that's just the lesbian comedian, that's just the gay comedian, thinking that that's the only type of comedy they do. And that's not true. But that is a problem for them to be able to advance, because not on their own oftentimes, they are put into that box by the patriarchy. I don't know. By the entertainment business, let's just say. Whether that's patriarchy or not. What the fuck ever. But by the entertainment business. They're pigeonholed, and so you don't get to see them as often. But in all actuality, in all reality, I think most, people acknowledge the fact that women, yes, can be just as funny as men. But when we're talking about actual popular comedians who get out there and get seen and get specials, yeah, it's either girly or slutty, one of the two, and they are both boring and not funny. But anyways, you guys, I guess that's it. Short and sweet. And, hey, if you have any good comedians, female comedians, mind you, that you like and you think are actually funny, yeah, comment below. But yeah, that's it. So like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter. Yeah, that's it. Bye.